This is October 18, 2018. I'm calling the planning board to order. And I'll do the roll call. David Champy is absent tonight because he is not feeling well. Ed Comeau.
Here.
Tim Straz.
I'm here.
Dianne Smith.
Here.
Rick Surrett.
Present.
Geary Ciccarone is here. Am I missing anybody?
Steve
Bailey.
right.
Huh?
Yep, me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve. I beg your pardon. Your name is, you're not even on this list over here. Okay. Are you present?
I am,
Outstanding.
and or accounted for.
Okay, I think that does it.
Please come on.
Pardon?
Oh.
Well, I don't think we're going to appoint any alternates tonight. We don't have any. So we'll proceed to public comments. No comments? Announcement, correspondence, mail. Stratford Regional Planning here. This is the letter that you got, an email. It has to do with the books and ordering how many copies we need. I'm not going to read it out loud. It's something anybody here can read. It's pretty much technobabble. We ordered 10 copies of the book, right?
We did not. My report would be that I received the email and I wanted authorization today by the board
Okay.
to basically order those books so we don't go through what we did last time. So I'm going to take care of the ordering. I just wanted authorization to do so.
Okay, I'll make a motion that the board authorize Ed to do that.
Second, for discussion.
Okay. So we have any discussion?
Yes, how many we're going to order?
Well, they have a number of them. You ordered 10 copies of the book,
Oh, 10.
only option last year.
Okay.
And we got how many? 3?
Well, we had to finagle some things to get, what, 5?
Yeah, I
We
remember we
didn't have
finagled.
enough. So the normal order is 10. I didn't read it closely after I saw that you responded.
Now, the normal order is 10, but we still don't have to get 10. I mean, if we only use 5, I don't know how many books we need.
We get one for every member of the board. I don't, the selectmen should, you know, do you order the selectmen order their books separately from ours for land use issues?
No, I believe one of yours comes to us.
Okay. So we need at least one for the selectmen and one for every board member, and that is 7, I guess, 6.
And I believe they're $6 a piece, roughly.
That's not how I read this. The typical cost for a single book is between $71 and $86. The discounted rate the regional planning commissions receive is $6.50 to $12. I don't know if that's what they pay for or that's the discount.
Well, I guess I'll find that out. I don't believe it's $70-something. I believe last time we paid, it was around $10 or $11.
Okay, well then 12 is the maximum they say here. Okay, well, anything else?
I would recommend that we get the 10, if that's kind of the standard that they're using, because hopefully we'll have some alternates. We may have, for whatever reason, I think, and we didn't all get new copies, so I think that it's worth getting the 10 this round.
Anybody else want to weigh in on this? It's not a lot of money.
Agreed.
Okay, so hearing no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Let's get the 10. Let me put this back where it goes. So I'm over here somewhere right there. Okay, let's review the minutes.
Sorry.
It's all right. Take your time. I'm abstaining anyway. Diane, you finished yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept the draft meeting minutes of September 20th, 2018 as presented.
So,
Okay,
I have one edit, that's all.
well, go ahead.
It's November's spelled incorrectly in section 5, edit 2, that's all.
I'm sorry, what's the?
November,
Oh,
it's missing an N.
Oh, which one's that?
Section 5, item 2, November is spelled incorrectly.
Oh, I got it. Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
aye.
Any nays? No, I abstained from that, I wasn't at the meeting, so.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, before we go on, the minutes are approved into the archives. Before we go on, I want to read this letter. Did anybody else read this letter from Steve? Did everyone here read it?
No.
I'll read it into the record anyway. Dear Chairman and members of the Brookfield Planning Board, I formally submit this letter of resignation to the Brookfield Planning Board. I would like to step down as a formal member, but would like to stay on as an alternate. The reason for this decision is because of my commitment to service of God and my church. I was asked to take a big ministry and said yes. I thank you all for the time we have shared on the board, and especially for all that I have learned from you. I consider each and every one of you family. You have all been a blessing to me, and having said this, I still look forward to spending time with each of you as an alternate as much as possible. Thank you for your time and consideration in this matter. Stephen C. Bailey. That's too bad. It's hard to find motivated, dedicated people. But I move that, I don't actually know the protocol for this, but I move that we recommend that Steve be an alternate. I do not know if that requires re-swearing in as an alternate. He's already sworn into the planning board. It might be moot, but you can do it as a formality if you wish. I don't think we need to. So, Diane.
Looking at our rules of procedure, I hadn't even thought about that issue. On the oath of office, it says, each newly elected or appointed, and then parenthetically, including re-elected or reappointed, member or alternate shall be sworn in and take an oath of office as required in RSA 42:1. Town clerk is authorized to submit the oath.
Yeah, I think that refers to after expiration of a term, but I think that's what that's about. But if it's no hardship for you, we'll have Virginia swear you in next time that you are here and she is here. No, I won't make you make a trip down there. Is there a time limit on that, Rick?
I think in the rules of procedure, within the first 3 paragraphs, it says we make announcements of newly appointed people at the next meeting.
I'm not hearing so good these days. Sorry.
I think we have to appoint him at the next meeting.
Yep. Okay, I don't have my rules of procedure with me. I came from work. We cannot appoint him at this meeting. He is a city member. All right. Well, we'll make a note of that, Diane, that we're going to do that with you at the next meeting.
Do what? Sorry.
appoint Steve as an alternate to the planning board. Gail, what's the date of the meeting?
So what you're saying is that we'll just put this off and do it?
Well, according to Rick, and I haven't got the rules of procedure in front of me yet.
I don't either.
Okay, shall I read this?
Yeah.
Surely.
So this is under members. When a member position becomes vacant, I'm missing the part about resignation, but when a member position becomes vacant, the chair shall announce the vacancy during a meeting. The vacancy shall not be filled until the next regularly scheduled meeting of the planning board following the announcement. If a vacancy exists, the remaining members of the board shall appoint a new member to serve until the next election, at which time the vacancy will be put on the ballot. Term on the ballot shall be the remainder of the original term. Selection, qualifications, term, removal of members, filling of vacancies shall conform to RSA 673:12.
Well, we should probably read that. RSA 673:12. I don't have anything with me tonight.
That sounds like it's specifically members and not alternates.
Correct.
I don't think a vacancy is being, I don't know that that applies to alternates, because the alternate is it's a non-elected position.
Right.
Yeah, and it does speak
You can
to
appoint-
resignations here too.
Yeah.
And a member or alternate who chooses to resign from the board or the office of chair or vice chair shall submit a letter of resignation, and the board shall accept the resignation via a motion to vote.
So we have to accept your resignation by motion and vote. If we refuse to do that, you stuck with being a member
George, for a year.
for life. I'll make that motion. I move that we accept the resignation of Steve Bailey for resignation from the planning board. Second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nay, opposed? Okay.
So one quick question. In the event of that vote, is that immediate?
I would say yes.
Yep. Okay.
I remember we've appointed alternates over the years and had them sworn in as alternates. I don't know how this formality is applicable to this particular circumstance. Somebody has been sworn into the planning board, he's stepping down to the alternate position. I don't know that too much formality is required, but we can go through the motions if it pleases the body.
So would we have Steve find Virginia Monday or Tuesday?
Pardon me?
Would we have Steve find Virginia Monday or Tuesday?
Yeah.
This one is an alternate?
Yeah, if you would. Have you got time for that? To have Virginia swear you in as an alternate? Would you do that?
Yeah.
And I'll put the issue to bed. Thank you.
Does the chair need to notify Virginia of this? Does the chair need to notify Virginia of this appointment?
Yes, absolutely.
I would like to move that we appoint Steve Bailey as an alternate for the planning board.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You're approved. I would also say that we really can't terminate anybody in the middle of a meeting. You're in the position until we adjourn, so otherwise you just have to be a member of the public. Anyway. Okay, well, thank you for serving on the planning board. It's a needed function. New business. Okay. Oh, I put you ahead of Tom Beeler? Well, that's okay. We have a candidate, Tom Beeler, who is evidently going to become our new administrative assistant. And he goes, what, Rick? He goes to the selectmen. You vote on that, or whatever you do on whatever day?
Planning board recommends to the selectmen
Okay,
who they chose.
we're gonna do that.
Okay.
I haven't spoken to Tom, I had no idea this was transpiring until today.
David and Ed
And Diane.
and Diane were committee to find a new administrative assistant. And apparently they've chosen Tom Beal.
And he's willing and able.
Yeah, so we will approve him at the next selectmen's meeting.
Okay, well, I admit that,
We'll get notification that he's the choice.
well, I moved that the planning board accept Tom Beeler's application for administrative assistant and send that to the planning board.
Haven't you already received a recommendation from Dave?
Not official.
Not officially.
I think you have to get it through motion.
So this would be even though we voted last meeting to give Dave and Ed the ability to make that hire.
Yeah, but at that vote, they didn't choose that hire.
Right,
They had to get other information from
sure.
other candidates.
But I thought we gave them the ability to make the selection
Yeah,
and then,
and they did.
yep,
It still has to be approved.
sure.
All right. That's it.
Okay.
So we don't need a motion then?
I would say we do need a motion.
I thought so, but
To officially, I mean, right,
we're referring this to the selectmen for review. I move that we do that. Any second?
I'll second for a quick discussion.
Okay.
Is everybody, is basically everybody okay with this? Any issues? We're glad we found somebody. We're happy that somebody has stepped up.
Do you know Tom, right?
Tom Beeler?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've known him for years. I'm sure he can do the job. And then
Oh,
some.
sure.
If he was willing to do it, then.
I appreciate Tim's comments, and he very well may be right, but I still think that it's worth us, now that we have been apprised of the selection, because there was some confusion, or not confusion, there was some uncertainty at the last meeting how it would play out. And now that we know that Tom has been selected as the candidate, I think that it's worth us going ahead with your motion and endorsing, or not, Tom as the next administrative assistant. So, and for the board to formally present that to the Board of Selectmen.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Tom Baylor is coming to the Inquisition. Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir.
are we going to create a letter of recommendation and then present that via mail to the selectmen, or is someone going to attend the selectmen's meeting and provide that to them?
Well, the ex officio is sitting here as a member of the board. I don't know that we have to get that formal. I mean, I don't think so. I think there's nothing probably in the rules of procedure that require that.
I'll get it on the agenda.
Pardon me?
I'll get it on the agenda. for the
Would you do that,
selectmen.
please? When's the next meeting? Next Tuesday?
Tuesday.
All right. I'll come. Okay, that puts that to bed. Old business, finalize and closure of master plan survey. We have some more here.
We got more.
Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8 or 9. Who's been logging the drift-ins?
We have it. We need to organize a session to input the last surveys and also decide how we're going to interpret the data, what data we have. We need to have a work session, I would say.
This work session to accomplish this and have the discussion, or I suppose should probably do this during a regular meeting anyway, if we're going to be adding this to our repository of info. And that's all locked away in the vault anyway, right?
Yeah. Well, I
We're
would,
not doing it tonight, obviously.
no, I would suggest we have a work session 2 Thursdays from now, where we enter the last 12, I think there was 4 from the last meeting, so we have 13 to enter. It shouldn't take very long, and then we can put the data into a spreadsheet and start looking at what we have and just make some decisions on presentation. Because somebody needs to, myself, I imagine I'll have to compile all that into a document. So we need to get started on that.
You're going to do compiling, because you've taken a pretty firm hand in this, right?
Yes. Yep.
And when would you supply that compilation?
Well, if we have a work session where we finalize this, get the raw data, have some discussion around it, look at it, have some discussion, then before the next meeting, I can have our results available for that November meeting.
I would think that a discussion about anything until we have a compilation of data is kind of pointless. I mean, we'll be talking about hypotheticals, we don't have any compilation.
Well, at the last meeting, we had a discussion of how the data would be presented, because some of it was not, it was not courteous to members of the community. So we need to have a session to look at the raw data. Some of the items need to be grouped into, without some of the comments.
What's your compilation consist of, so that I get it?
Well, we looked at, the way we compile the data is into a graph form or into percentages. So we need to, but we also took comments from the public as part of the survey. We need to decide how we are going to deal with the comments, which are important, but part of the discussion last month was we should summarize the general feelings of some of the community, but also maybe we could take some of those comments and group them into a category that was not selected, available for selection during the time, which, we had, great, good, fair, poor, but maybe there needs to be those dissenting comments need to go into poor. We need to have a discussion about how to treat some of those things.
Well, given the time of year, normally I would say, because we're not so swamped with work, that all of that could wait for the next meeting, but considering the fact that the reason we've done this is to probably write ordinances.
Well, we decided that this meeting would be the closing of the survey. And I think it's important that we close it, we get the data together, and we get something out quickly so that everybody who participated in the town is aware of that the process is moving forward. I mean, that was survey has been a big step that we've been talking about for a year, and we finally have good data and information to be able to share. So let's jump on it, let's get it out there, and let's start having a discussion. I mean, that would be a nice way to fill some of these seats in here come November, December, when we want to start talking about more of the master plan.
Perhaps a November meeting is what you're saying. That's why the interim meeting, to do some of the work, I'm presuming, yeah.
So, Mr. Chairman, we could have a work session either on the 1st or the 8th of November. I would say the 1st would be okay if you wanted to have another separate meeting that would solely be for the master plan to work out all these details.
I think that's what that should be dedicated to if we're going to have a separate meeting, no other business.
Yes.
So it's November 1st.
What's the day of the week?
Tuesday, I'm sorry, Thursday.
Thursday.
Same.
Well, Saints Day, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yes.
New Orleans will be hopping.
I
Well,
want to be here.
okay. All in favor of having a meeting on a Thursday, the 1st of November,
Second.
to do this work that we need to do, follow up on our survey.
Second.
Anybody have a discussion on that?
I just want to make sure that we're going to have the vault available so we can get the information out of the vault to compile it.
Well,
I don't know, I think I only think in the vault there's the
Oh, the actual.
tabulated surveys. I think the balance, I don't know where the 4 from the last meeting are.
question for you, do you have all the information on the computer?
Yeah, it's all there.
Even
So
with-
you already have access to the information?
I do currently, yes,
It's
but
just a card copy that's in there.
that's the hard copy, yes.
But, so we don't really need the hard copy on the table on the first?
We need what's sitting in front of you.
Yeah, of course, which we can put under lock and key until then, I'm sure, without going into the wall.
I had thought that we hadn't actually put into any computerized form the areas of the survey that weren't.
Well, we have them all, they're all, I think, compiled online, all the comments.
Are the comments in there?
We all entered the comments, we should have been all entering the comments as we were entering the data.
Okay.
That work session we had, September, I think, so,
We entered the comments in
Yes.
there.
yeah. And I know everybody, I could hear everybody reading off and doing that, so I think the comments have been accounted for, it's just how we're gonna deal with them.
Not all of the comments went into the Google tool.
Why do you say that?
Well, because I had a Word document that I was using, and we were putting it into the Word document.
All right, yep, we can add that. Once when you're gonna need to bring the Word document with you on the first, and what we're gonna have to do is, once we finish entering this data and we put it in a spreadsheet, we can add those comments into the
It's not
spreadsheet.
going to be correlated. I guess that was the
Well,
reason.
yeah, once we bring it into a spreadsheet, it's just gonna be,
Right,
time and date are gonna be irrelevant at that time.
okay.
So the proposal is that we meet on the first, and I would say 6:30 is probably a good time. All in favor?
Aye.
Comment?
Yeah.
Those questionnaires were designed for the master plan,
Correct,
which is going to be started shortly.
yes.
The question I would raise is there anything in that questionnaire that should be considered as an ordinance change? There's some things jump out that say, hey, look, the town wants this, or the town wants that, that the board can jump on, because you only get one shot a year at that, and that's coming up in March.
I understand that.
Well, I-
That was my point why we go to November. Let me ask you a question. How many of these surveys were here?
We've
Do you remember how many?
compiled 103.
103, that was the number that came into my mind. It's too bad that the people in the town, how many people, we were offering 2 per family, weren't we, or the
We
adults?
sell one to every tax address,
1 to every tax address, so there's what, 357 tax addresses?
600 something.
600, so less than 20% of the town responded, that's too bad. It really is, because,
Well, that's actually pretty good for a survey of this format.
I understand, it's maybe pretty good statistically, but it's a shame that the other 500 people aren't having a voice, regardless of what it would be, but that's the way it is, and that's...
Well, they have the option of coming here and participating and
They do have
being
that
involved,
option.
so, you know,
More than likely, they will not if they didn't fill out the form.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay, so that it is, and, Diane,
I just want to, I appreciate Rich's concern about ordinance change, but I would ask that we think carefully, as this is just the beginning part of the master plan development, that we really think carefully before we embark on making any ordinance change recommendations at this very early stage. It really, really should be after the master plan is either completed or nearing completion.
Well-
That's my opinion as a member of the planning board, that we have a process in front of us, the development of this master plan. And the input from Brookfield residents, you yourself just commented that, less than, a large number of residents did not respond to the survey. They have other opportunities to participate, and this is a process, I think, that's going to take months for us to create that master plan document. And I expect that we probably won't finish it until well after the election.
I agree with you in a lot of ways. First of all, I think the compilation of the data and the percentages of this, that, the other thing, and the comments aren't on the table yet, really, in total. And I don't think we can even make any decision about anything we're going to do until we can analyze that anyway. So whether any ordinances are going to come out of this or not is not even a discussion for this evening. It might begin next meeting, but maybe not too.
I mean, ideally, in my view, it'd be nice to come to the November meeting and say, we have survey results that we want to post on the website and make available for the town, and then kind of close that chapter of our acquisition of data and start moving on. And make that, the results publicly available. I mean, I have access to it, but I haven't even looked at it yet. I feel like it's not fair to look at it until we all sit down together and look at it. And I think that the work meeting is very important in order to kind of get this together so we can say, all right, survey's done, let's begin discussion.
Agreed. That's November 1st. And this may not lead in any specific ordinance changes in any way. We don't have any idea until we look at the data.
Exactly. I think November 1st will be an interesting evening of looking at what the results are and where people are with the feelings on the status of town.
Well,
Mr. Chairman. No, me.
yeah, sure.
To speak to what Selectman Zacher had said, it was my understanding that November 12th is the first day that you can put together zoning ordinance change petition warrant articles. They had just mentioned velocity, I thought. Do you know of any other information?
That is for petitioned articles. There's a window that closes, I think, December 7th. I think it's 14 days before that, if you want to submit a petition article.
It's my belief that once we get this together and analyze it, we would be hard-pressed to formulate and submit an article that really does anything for this by that date. I don't see, that we're going to be that. I mean, usually the process that I've seen over the years is that articles take a considerable time to construct. They don't just fall out of people's head onto the table and we pick them all up and take them home. It takes a while. December 7th, it's not far away. It's Thanksgiving in a month, I don't.
That is for petitioned articles.
Oh,
Articles from the board can come in as late as the end of January.
but yeah, I was going to say, even January. Well, let's see. Let's just see what the results are. We'll have a discussion about the results, and maybe there isn't any constructive ordinances that we can do. We don't know at this moment, so.
Can I add a comment?
Sure, you can do it. Yeah, member comments are coming in, but go ahead.
No, I want to stay on this agenda item for a second. You have, when we compile this and we show what we have compiled to the public, would it be unheard of to then to give a little extension to more survey? Like after people read what other people, or would that skew the information?
That's what I think would happen.
It would skew it.
I was thinking about this the other day, because really you kind of give power to factions that want a different perspective than what's out there, having known how people feel.
We aren't going to do another written survey like that just because some people didn't bother. But we very possibly could have a public hearing. And if people were interested enough to come to the public hearing and speak or get involved, that would be a way around the non-participants getting involved. If they're not gonna do that, they certainly aren't gonna write out another written survey, and put us through that exercise again, I don't think.
I just brought that up because I'm,
No, sure,
just
I
to
agree
see
with
more
you.
people get involved, that's all.
I agree with you, and I think we could try a public hearing, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but it's a thought anyway. Again, the board could decide that. We gotta get this together first, and then we'll worry about whether we're gonna go for that. Anybody else got any good ideas on this stuff? Probably all have them on November 1st.
Did we vote on November 1st already?
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks.
We don't vote November 1st.
No, vote whether to meet
We
November
voted on
1st.
your motion.
On your motion.
Okay,
Yeah, 5 days later.
No, we didn't vote on the motion yet, I don't think.
Well,
Yes, we did.
I wrote approve.
Yes, we
That's
did.
different.
Yeah, we did. You could, yeah, see, that's why we need somebody taking notes.
I have something else under old business. We're on old business, right?
Yeah, still.
Okay. The pit inspections. I contacted the Moose Mountain LLC property that runs the pit up on Moose Mountain Road, and we have a set-up schedule to, Rick and I, to actually go and meet with him and to inspect that pit. But I still have not heard back from the owner of the Smith pit. And I don't know, did we receive any mail?
Nothing that I see here.
Okay. So my report is that Tuesday noon, we're gonna have one pit inspected, and I'm still waiting for the other pit to get back, just for permission to go on their property.
How long ago did we send a notice?
I sent it out last meeting.
So a month ago.
Did you get a response?
No, not from the Smith pit owner.
Well,
I mean,
I know
was
that.
there a return receipt that they got
Oh, yes,
so they have the document?
yes.
I know them. I can make it a point to ask them personally.
Yeah, I could have done that also, but I just didn't,
I know what it is, those guys are out, it's a busy for them right now, they're out, it's a back burner thing. It's out of sight, out of mind, it's on a dashboard or someplace. I know it's not willful, it's just, yeah, I'll get to that when I get to it type of thing.
And just for a future note, I think we should revisit how we put out, I mean, there's only 2 pits in town, this should not be rocket science. But
Yeah.
I think a self-addressed stamped envelope could be designed, I mean, I could take care of all that. We can vote on it to change the rules of procedure, just so the person who gets the mail can just drop it in that says they authorize us to go, because I think people don't have time to sit there and write letters back. So stamped addressed envelope should be able to do that.
We could even say, I will meet you on such and such a date, and leave blank space, they can put that in time.
Drop it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
We'll work on
We don't need to vote on that, that's just a housekeeping procedure, we can just do that administratively. So, who wants to do that? We don't have an administrative assistant.
Yeah.
that. Well, I'll come up with the letter and the process, and then we just have to change the rules of procedure up just a little bit, just to clarify it, that's all.
All right,
And we'll talk about it next time.
okay, any other old business in anyone's mind? Member comments?
You missed public comments.
Hmm?
Public comments?
Oh, I'm sorry, we changed that. Oh, public comments. Yeah, Rick's been shaking his head no since he walked in the door. There was public comments number 4, and he shook his head no, so I didn't figure he'd be going for number 9.
Oh,
Member comment?
were you gonna make a member comment?
No.
I just wanna make sure this is on the forefront. I think we're supposed to be getting our budget together.
Yeah, I saw something.
It was in the minutes.
I just want to make sure that we don't forget that, so, you know.
When does it have to be submitted, Mr. Selectman? Anybody know that one off the top of their head?
Off the top of my head, it's
Looking for
December
December 1st, you're saying?
So the budget has to be submitted December 1st. So basically, we're below budget this year, right? Considerably. So I guess that we have to take that into consideration. We don't have this stuff in front of us. I don't have my town meeting book last year. I have it at home. It has the budget. Anybody know what, off the top of their head? What was this planning board budget for last year?
Right here. I think it was $6,750, from my memory.
I wasn't around last year. I was off in another land.
Is that the current year-to-date due?
Should be, it's through, can't see, but it's August 31st. So mid-September's not there, Rob.
Thank you. Planning board. 2018 budget, 6,500. Actual, 1,241. Remaining, $5,259. Expenses were $86 over budget. We're under budget $52.59 on planning board secretary. Planning and development, we have $1 left. We started with $1. Public notices, 400 was the budget, 320 is what we used. And dues and workshop, 150, and we use 150, so we're 56.44 under budget.
Minus the books,
Pardon me?
minus the books that are coming up.
Minus the books that are coming up, yeah. Well, you know, it would be interesting, we have to figure, what are we paying Tom Beeler? I read something about it somewhere, but what will we be paying if he's accepted
I think the number is gonna be $16 an hour.
okay.
That's the number I've seen in email.
We'll have to figure out how many hours he's, we're gonna,
So we're not gonna have, we're gonna need to have another discussion
Yes.
about all elements of the budget at the next meeting.
I think we should
Absolutely.
table it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and if you, under Appendix W, the recurring activities of the planning board, it says in November, we're supposed to develop the planning board budget. I just wanted to bring it up so we're ready, so we have this in our mind.
I wasn't gonna develop it tonight. That's, I'm not the chairman.
I'm just trying to
Acting chairman.
I'm just trying to keep it up, you know, on people's minds.
All right, I'll put that back. Okay, yeah, well, we'll get there, I'm sure. David recovers and comes into work. We also, by the way, didn't tell anybody this was here. If anyone wants to read it, it will be in the office there, the magazine. So, do we have any other member comments? Well, thanks again. We'll be glad to have you as an alternate. We're adjourning.